Chapter 1. A Royal Mystery. Once upon a time, in a vast and elegant kingdom bordered by whispering forests and mountain peaks shrouded in snow, there lived a wise and weary king. He had 12 daughters, each more beautiful than the last, and he guarded them with fierce devotion. The 12 princesses shared a magnificent chamber with 12 silken beds, 12 tall windows, and one great mystery. Every morning, the princesses' shoes were worn through, as though they had danced all night. Yet their chamber was locked tight, with no way in or out save through the guarded door. The king was baffled and disturbed. No matter how many lock spells or guards he assigned, the shoes were always found in tatters come dawn. Desperate for an answer, the king issued a decree. Whoever could uncover the secret of his daughter's nightly dancing would win the hand of the princess of his choice and inherit the throne. But there was a condition. Each suitor had 3 nights to solve the mystery. If he failed, he would lose his life. Princes came from far and wide, drawn by the promise of marriage and power. Each failed. One by one they vanished, their fates sealed by morning's failure. The princesses remained silent, their faces calm, but eyes alight with a secret joy. Chapter 2. The Soldier's Decision. In a distant part of the kingdom, a poor but clever soldier was returning home after years of loyal service. Along the way, he heard of the king's challenge and decided to try his luck. He had nothing to lose and was not afraid of death. His name was Alaric. As he journeyed to the palace, Alaric met an old woman with a crooked back and eyes like storm clouds. "Where are you headed, young man?" she asked. "To the palace. I intend to solve the mystery of the dancing princesses," Alaric replied. The woman smiled knowingly. "Take this cloak," she said, producing a shimmering garment of silver thread. "It will make you invisible. And remember, do not drink anything the princesses offer you." Alaric thanked her and continued on his way. At the palace, he declared his intent and was granted his 3 nights. Chapter 3. The First Night. That evening, Alaric was led to the princess's chamber. The eldest, Princess Isolde, welcomed him with a soft smile and offered a goblet of wine. Remembering the old woman's words, Alaric subtly poured it into a flower pot beside his chair. Soon after, he pretended to fall asleep. As the clock struck midnight, the princesses rose from their beds. They laughed quietly and dressed in gowns of moonlight and stars. From beneath Isolde's bed, the youngest sister, Leora, pulled a trapdoor, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. Alaric, now wrapped in his invisibility cloak, followed silently. The stairs led to a tunnel lined with trees of silver, gold, and diamond leaves. The princesses walked through them as though it were their private garden. Alaric broke off a branch from each tree as proof. Soon they arrived at a lake where 12 boats awaited, each piloted by a prince as shadowy and silent as mist. The princesses entered the boats and were rowed across to a castle glowing with music and light. Inside, they danced with the shadowy princes until dawn. Alaric watched it all, then hurried back to the palace before the princesses returned. He lay in bed, feigning slumber. Chapter 4. The Second Night. The second night unfolded the same. Again Alaric refused the wine. Again he followed the princesses down the silver stairs, through the golden forest, and across the diamond lake. This time, he stole a goblet from the banquet table as further proof. The shadow princes seemed to grow restless. One, taller than the rest, glanced toward Alaric more than once, though he remained unseen. Leora, the youngest princess, paused once in her dance and stared into the darkness, a frown creasing her brow. But the night passed and Alaric returned unseen. Chapter 5. The Third Night. On the third night, a sense of finality hung in the air. The princesses seemed more radiant than ever, but also strangely subdued. Alaric followed once more, this time noting the sorrowful expressions of the shadow princes. As the sisters danced, Alaric wandered deeper into the enchanted castle. There he found a throne room draped in spider silk and midnight. The king of the shadow realm sat there, his face a mirror of the mortal king's, only older, sadder. "You are the first to reach this place," the Shadow King said. "Our world is bound to your realm through the princesses dancing. They are the bridges. When the truth is told, our bond will end." Alaric bowed and took his leave, knowing he had seen all he needed. Chapter 6. The Truth Revealed. At sunrise, Alaric was summoned to the Great Hall. The king and the 12 princesses sat in judgment. The courtiers leaned forward, breathless. "Speak," the king commanded. Alaric described everything: the secret passage, the magical forest, the shadow princes, the invisible realm. He laid the jeweled branches and goblet before the court. The princesses were silent, but none denied his words. At last Isolde spoke. "Yes, what he says is true. Each night we were drawn to dance in the other world, as part of an ancient pact neither of us remembered making." The king sighed, relief and sorrow mingling in his eyes. "The spell is broken." The shadow world faded, and with it, the shadow princes. Some wept, others bowed in farewell. Chapter 7. A New Beginning. True to his word, the king offered Alaric his choice of bride. Though Isolde was the eldest, it was Leora, the youngest, whom Alaric had grown to admire. "I choose Leora," he said gently. Leora smiled, tears of both joy and sadness in her eyes. Their wedding was held in the blooming gardens of the palace. The 12 sisters were no longer bound to dance through darkness. Instead, they danced in the sunlight, among friends and laughter. Alaric and Leora ruled with wisdom and kindness, and though the shadow realm faded into memory, its echoes remained in their dreams, and thus the kingdom was whole again, its secrets turned to stories, its sorrow to song.